Hey, it's Mike, your host of Craft Beer Storm. It's Friday. How are you doing? That means we have craft brew news for you today. And check out this story. I woke up and I said, "What?" It's the drama of the industry. Boston Beer Company and Dogfish Head agree to merge in a $300 million deal. Wow. 8 years ago, Dogfish Head and Boston Beer Company teamed up to brew a collaboration beer for the annual SAVOR craft beer and food pairing experience. All these articles are brought to you by Brewbound, by the way, brewbound.com. Today, the two companies announced the signing of a definitive merger agreement valued at $300 million. The deal is expected to close in the second quarter. The merger comes nearly 4 years after Dogfish Head sold a 15% stake to LNK Partners, a New York-based private equity firm. I didn't know that. As a result of the merger, LNK will exit its investment of the Delaware-based craft brewery, so LNK will be out. The merger brings together the Brewers Association's second largest craft beer maker, Boston Beer, with the 13th largest craft brewery, Dogfish Head, and both companies will retain their status as BA-defined independent craft breweries. So they're merging, but they're operating separately. Speaking to Brewbound, Sam Calagione said that the deal came together over pints this past February during Beer Advocates Extreme Beer Fest in Boston. See that? A couple guys have pints, and there you go. Two of the biggest craft beer breweries are merging. Unbelievable. Sam said, "We talked about how challenging the industry is getting, the indie craft definition, brands that consumers think are indie craft, active lifestyle beers, and we discovered how beautifully complementary and not competitive our portfolios were," he said. In a press release, the two companies said the merger would create a powerful American-owned platform for craft beer and beyond. Coke said via the press release, this combination is the right fit as both Boston Beer and Dogfish Head have a passion for brewing and innovation. We share the same values and we learn a lot from each other as we continue to invest in the high-end beer category, Coke said via press release. According to the release, Dogfish Head is on pace to sell 300,000 barrels of beer in 2019, which is a lot of beer, with a net sales of about $120 million. And Boston Beer Chief Executive Dave Bunwick, who previously served as the CEO for Pete's Coffee and Tea, Inc., before taking over as CEO of the brewery last February, will lead the merged entity. According to Calagione, Bunwick, who led the acquisitions, the two super premium coffee brands, Intelligentsia and Stumptown, while at Pete's, was very involved with the merger. Sorry, his name is Berwick. Berwick said via release, United, we will have the highest quality, most distinct high-end portfolio from both a price point and product perspective, with a top-ranked sales organization, and bring it to market. We expect that we'll see more consolidation in the craft industry over time. We'll be in the best position to take advantage of those changes. Calagione, who noted that Dogfish shares about half of its wholesalers with Boston Beer, said the two companies would also look to align distribution geography everywhere it makes sense. So it's a business decision. You got two great brands, two OGs, right? They're spearheaded the craft beer movement, and they're getting together. We'll see what happens with that. Great beer from both of them. Two good guys, and I want to have them on. We have to have you guys on to talk about it. I'm going to make it happen. I have to call them. Okay. Red Bull terminates 3 Massachusetts wholesalers, leading to a mass layoff at Burke. That's our next story. Because I was associated with these guys in the past, and it's just, you never know what could happen. I mean, it could be a non-beer event, right? That just Just destroys a company. So there you go. Red Bull North America this week announced that it would terminate distribution contracts with 3 Massachusetts beer and non-alcoholic beverage wholesalers in June as it transitions to a self-distribution model for off-premise accounts. The energy drink maker also announced it would transfer its on-premise business to wine and spirits distributor Martignetti companies. Starting June 3rd, Red Bull Distribution Company, which is RBDC, will take over the brand's distribution rights from Burke Distributing Corporation in Boston, Atlas Distributing in Worcester, and Williams Distributing Company in Chicopee. In a statement released to media outlets, Red Bull said its focus is on providing the most effective and efficient route to market in every geography. Unlike beer breweries, non-alcoholic beverage companies are not subject to Massachusetts franchise laws, which lock beer brands into nearly unbreakable contracts with their wholesalers. The state's beer companies and wholesalers have been at odds over reforming these laws over the several years, but a resolution has proven elusive. And that's the truth, because once you get married with these distributors, it's very hard to get that arrangement dissolved. They just don't want to do it. And these laws that are in existence in Massachusetts make it nearly impossible. A lot of these breweries are up in arms, and they're like, what's going on? I can't even get out of this contract because of these antiquated laws. Massachusetts, what's going on? Get on it. You legalize cannabis. Do something with this stuff. I mean, geez. Okay, due to unforeseen circumstances arising out of the termination of a major business contract, a Burke Distributing Corporation will be conducting a mass layoff at its corporate offices. He wrote in a letter to Business Services Rapid Response Manager Ken Messina. There you go. Burke has added that the job cuts are expected to be permanent, with the first separation slated for June 24th, happening rapidly. Boston Business Journal reported that Burke, a third-generation wholesaler whose brands include Miller Coors, Constellation Brands, Boston Beer Company, and several craft brands, employed 320 workers as of 2018. The Red Bull Distribution Company operates in 22 states with 82 warehouses and more than 2,000 employees, according to its website. The company sold 8.6 billion cans worldwide in 2008 with a 7% increase over 2017 level. So Red Bull is growing. They're like, we're taking it back. There's no law against non-alcoholic beverages regarding, arrangements. And they just said, look, we're getting out of this deal. Thank you. And that shows you that non-alcoholic beverages do have an impact on your alcoholic distribution companies as well. And there you go. Last story. Schlafly sold again. Sage Capital sells controlling stake in St. Louis Brewery back to the family. Interesting. The Schlafly family, once again, is controlling the interest of the St. Louis Brewery, makers of Schlafly beer. More than 7 years after acquiring a majority interest in the St. Louis craft brewery, private equity firm Sage Capital, as well as several current and former Schlafly beer employees, included co-founder Dan Kopman, have sold their stakes in the business to a new investor group led by David Schlafly, a real estate developer and cousin of brewery co-founder Tom Schlafly. Specific financial terms of the deal, which closed May 3rd, are not disclosed. Following the transaction, the new investor group, including members of the Schlafly family, as well as other investors, who control 80% of the company. David Schlafly said his first goal was to return ownership to the brewery to the Schlafly family and close friends. And through the virtue of that, the brewery can do what it's always done. It can lead in making great beer, he said. Quality companies like Schlafly are very rare, and they are things you want to be part of. In 2017, the last year which production numbers were available, Schlafly brewed about 45,000 barrels of beer, down from a peak of 60,000 barrels in 2015. Tom Schlafly told Brew Company's production declined even further in 2018, was unable to provide final production figures. Yeah, and that's their Schlafly taking the power back, right? Selling and then taking it back. So that is our craft brew news for today. Got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of business stuff. We got mergers, two of the big boys, which is awesome. I'm looking forward to see what happens with that. You got non-alcoholic liquid affecting big distributors of alcoholic brands. Mass layoffs, you never know. And then you got the family selling a stake and then taking it back. The drama continues, right, in this industry. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen now going forward. We had these two big guys merging. Who else is going to do that? Usually you see more consolidation in the industry. We'll have to see what happens. Because they'll be very powerful. They'll use, consolidate and, economies of scale, I guess, play off of one another and generate more profits, which is good. But we'll see probably some other mergers coming along the pike. So stay tuned. All right, that is our craft brew news for today. If you like what we're doing, you like our podcast, please go on iTunes. Give us a rating, give us a review. It takes 2 seconds, 5 stars. Click on those stars. Click on 5 stars. Everything will be awesome. Great. If you like what we're doing, also tell a friend. Tell a couple of friends, right? Tell 10 friends at least. You want to email me? Tell me what I'm doing right and wrong. Michael at craftbeerstorm.com. If you have somebody you want on the show, please email me too. Connect me with them. I love to have them on. We're 360. We do everything in the craft beer world. Packaging, malt, hops, distributors, companies, everything. Labels, whatever. Bloggers, other podcasters, right? Everything. So send them my way. And that is all I have for you today. I wish you a great weekend. And we'll see you on Monday with another episode of Craft Beer Storm. We'll talk to you soon.